Yeah, we are.
Well,
We're fucking
shit.
here.
Okay, so
Ready. This is
first movie of the evening that we talk about.
on the podcast.
I guess. Do we have a name for this?
No, it's
We don't need a name for this.
Everyone, I would like your suggestion for names.
The Necrophilia?
Necro the Necrophilia.
The Necrophilia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good name for us.
There's so many implications in it. There's like the Necro, the Familia, the Hispanic side.
The family that fucks dead bodies together stays together.
Wow, that's...
So this next film is the spin-off of the X-Men trilogy's Nightcrawler, am I right,
Nightcrawler,
fellas?
yeah.
We finally get the story that I've always wanted because he's always been my favorite fucking character. And
he is the coolest. Like,
and they shafted him entirely.
No, Instead, they were like, we can't do this project. We're gonna have to change it. We gotta change the whole.
Change it, flip it around, get a new director on board, a guy who's never worked before, Dan Gilroy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
he's the older brother of Tony Gilroy, the guy who wrote, not directed, wrote all the Bournes, and he directed the last shitty one. But don't hold that against him.
Yes,
Tony Gilroy.
Oh, he also wrote and directed Duplicity.
Yeah. Is that you're talking about Tony Gilroy?
Yeah, Tony Gilroy. Tony Gilroy, the brother, directed Duplicity, which is a movie that I actually really enjoy, starring Clive Owen. But
Dan Gilroy. But Dan
Gilroy, his brother, directed Nightcrawler.
And wrote and directed.
Wrote and directed. Wow, this is a really impressive first film. He wrote and directed the 2014 Nightcrawler, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. And we're going to talk about that today. Why don't we start off with the plot line
the plot line. So it stars this guy. It's called Lou Bloom.
Lou.
And he's kind of a really driven, like kind of strange character.
Very like
he's like that guy you had at work who's always just like very like, I am very driven. I want to do this.
I'm gonna climb up the ladder this quickly.
You know what they say.
If you want to
third time pays for all.
if you want to win the lottery, you gotta make the money to buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's one of the lines. Good. Yeah, and
that's my favorite line from the movie.
Yeah, if you want to win the lottery, you gotta make the money to buy a ticket. So that's kind of his, and he kind of. In the very beginning, he's kind of a sketchy kind of dude. He's thieving.
Well, yeah. See, that's what I think is great about the movie is that he's not even a high-end thief. He's just a fucking thief.
Yeah,
like just straight flat out like
first
ugly thief.
Steals some chain link fence.
He's just stealing scrap metal.
And so he basically muscles his.
Which,
way,
by the way, that the end to that scene is great.
Yeah,
the way that ends.
The opening tells you everything you need.
Yeah,
to know.
literally everything you need to know about this character. And what's interesting about not to get too far into the subject, we're gonna get deeper in this later, but I really like how the opening paints the character in such a negative light, and yet somehow they're able to win you back over later.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that.
Honestly, like, it's weird, like, throughout the whole movie, and just so you know, this movie, if you're going for, like, an action movie, it's not exactly, it's not what you're going to be looking at. It teeters...
It teeters between thriller and horror, I think. And it leans more towards thriller, but I think horror fans especially should really like this movie.
There's some character drama.
There's a good character drama.
But yeah, that's what you should know. Also, just side note, if you're curious why I'm talking so strange, I have my 4 of my fucking teeth yanked out of my mouth
because those teeth needed to be yanked out.
Yes, and I'm no longer wise, so there's that. Okay, so basically he forces his way. He gets a camera and he starts running around trying to find like graphic shit to film and then sell it to the news.
Yes. Basically, the simplest way to describe it is he's driving down the road. And he comes across a car crash, and
it's like
flaming car crash. Woman is screaming inside.
Yeah, and Bill Paxton pulls up in the van, runs out, and like starts filming it.
Yeah, just starts filming it with his with his little like his assistant cameraman. Yeah, and I love the way he's yelling at him. Get a fucking side shot. Get over there. Get a nice 2-angle on this.
Yeah, I kept like the whole time I kept thinking like, you're not gonna fucking help these 2 cops pull all this? Like, the car's gonna explode in some shit. You're just like, no, shoot it.
And I love how
they're getting in the way too.
They're literally standing in the way at some points. And I mean, I've never been to LA.
And this is like a real. I'm pretty sure this is a real position. Like if you think about like the footage
I know
it's
definitely a real position. I mean, what's cool about that is they show you the footage that those two shot, and it's the shot we've all seen.
Yeah,
we've all seen the shot on the news at night where they're just coming in telling us, hey, these cops came in, they saved a bunch of people. Yeah. We've all seen that footage. Yeah. So it's interesting now to see how that footage was got.
Yeah, and how much more intense it actually was. Because I feel like we get desensitized from the news a little bit. But,
Well, I think we should start off by just getting it out of the way right now. Yes, this is a career-defining performance for Jake Gyllenhaal.
You think? Yeah.
I think this is career-defining in that there are scenes in the movie where I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
Where you honestly don't even... And I mean quite literally, I was looking at his face, and the way he had changed his mannerisms, his facial expressions, he changed so much where there were scenes where I looked at him, I didn't see Jake Gyllenhaal. I didn't see Donnie Darko. I didn't see the Prince of Persia. We don't talk about that. I saw Lou Bloom, psychotic news reporter, getting his shots, and it is freaking creepy and terrifying and unnerving in such a skin crawling level. It gets under your skin.
Like a night crawling.
Yeah, like a Nightcrawler, you might say. And it was really cool. I never knew that was the term.
Yeah, actually, the Nightcrawler is the term for the guys who run around trying to film things. And generally, it happens because they're trying to film it at night so that they can sell it to the morning news.
So I think it'd be a good point now to talk about what this movie is actually about, not just in terms of just the main character, but
his satire.
It's a discussion of
what is good to show on the news.
It's a discussion of journalism. It's a discussion of art in a weird sort of way. I think at one point where
he's
trying to make his
shots look as beautiful as possible,
as artsy as possible, to the point where he's
kind of fucking shit up a little bit.
He's manipulating crime scenes.
Yeah, he's manipulating crime scenes
for the
shot
for the right moment.
Yeah, to get it
to make it look absolutely beautiful. Where do you want to go from here?
So what
Well, along the way, he also the real horror of the film comes whenever he has to relate to other people.
Yeah,
that's when the true terror comes out.
Yeah, he hires this. This strange. I don't know who this guy was. The actor who played him.
Yeah, I've never seen that actor before. But you know what? It was really good casting because he reminded me of a lot of like people I used to go to high school with, and then I run into them. 2 or 3 years later, and
burnouts.
And they're completely just wrecked. And his voice too, even the way his voice was so raspy.
Yeah, he was very
He just seemed like a druggy, junkie sort of dude. And he says he's homeless, and that's the worst part about it, is that you like him, but you totally understand why he's going along with this, because he really does need the money.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is such he's treating himself like he's this crazy businessman, and he's just I can offer you a internship. Unpaid, but it will possibly lend you, and it's just him in a car. It's two of them in their shitty car.
He's giving him all these titles.
Yeah,
everything. You're assistant production manager on this for official video production news, and I want you to know that while this position doesn't come with any money, it'll eventually come with the promise of better positions in the future.
Yeah, and he starts paying him $30 a night or something like that.
Something really minimal.
It's not even minimum wage.
It was really 10 hours a night. You have to be listening.
And the guy is such a burnout. He's yeah. And he puts up with all of Jake Gyllenhaal's shit.
That's the thing. That's one thing that I really, really, really appreciated this movie is I bought all of Jake Gyllenhaal's bullshit. Yeah. I understand it is bullshit.
Yeah, no, but it's true.
But he's so good at it, and he does it in a way where, he makes it applicable to the situation. Yeah. I mean, stepping back into the situation, you would go, no, that's horrible. But in the moment, You buy why these people follow him and why these people do what he says, including the girl that we're not talking about. What's the actress's name?
I don't know. She runs the news station, and in the beginning, Jake Gyllenhaal's kind of a newbie, and her name is Rena Russo.
Oh, Renee Russo.
Renee Russo.
Oh, yeah. She was in other movies. Like Lethal Weapon 4.
Yeah. I just saw a young picture of her. And
she was in a movie called Ransom.
Have you seen that? I saw that.
It's, I did not see it.
By Ron Howard.
Really?
Yeah, Ransom by Ron Howard. Just middle 90s.
What?
With
Mel Gibson.
Back when Mel was a star.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, she was in Thor. She's in Thor. She's in a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so
Renee Russo is the owner of like their local shitty.
Like KTVU channel 2,
like news station. I remember them saying it was like the something lowest.
Yeah,
like, it was like really bad.
It was like a really bad. And she's like, she needs like these crazy stories to help get good ratings.
And she's just about as amoral as
he is,
but she's in denial about it. I think
she's doing it for more of the like keeping her job and selling. She's just trying to sell this news station. And
Jake Gyllenhaal just kind of comes in like a whirlwind.
Yeah, he
just takes it. And the business practices that he uses. See, that's the thing, is I learned a lot about business from watching this movie. Like, telling them, no, you got to tell them it came from VPN.
Yeah.
It came from Video Production News. You mentioned that name.
Yeah.
You mentioned where you got this footage.
You're going to take me up that one scene where he just there's basically, he's filming for her for a while, and then eventually he lays down the law, and he's just like,
oh, wait, where he...
Yeah, and he's just like, you're going to tell them that I'm... Yeah. And he doesn't... I feel like he doesn't blink during this, like, long-ass shot.
Yeah.
And it's just... First of all, can we talk about his eyes during that movie? They were insane. They were, like, so big. And there's this one shot with the mirror that just is my favorite part. Because it defines his character.
That's a good point. Keep talking, sorry.
It defines his character throughout the whole film. It's just this part where he... It's very, like, small, but he just shakes this mirror, and it's just... You wouldn't think a shot of a guy just really mad, really kind of crazy, looking into a mirror, just... Shaking it, would be so unsettling.
But you know the decision he chooses to make at that point. It's so... That's where he says, all right, I am going to go that far. So fucked up.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
I love that, and I loved his. Enough cannot be stated about his performance. I think it is defining in terms of.
It definitely is impressive. Like, he's definitely starting to move into a direction that I really like. Like Prisoners last year.
Prisoners was really good. It reminded me of Prisoners in terms of. It's a very beautifully done and artsy movie, but with Prisoners, I felt like Hugh Jackman was doing more. Mm-hmm. And, I felt like Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't really doing much in that movie. Right. Here he gets to go a lot of different... It's a range in a spectrum in terms of, like...
Yeah.
He shows a lot of emotions, but he shows it all in this crazy, warped, psychotic character. And if I'm going to get into anything negative... And this isn't really a negative on my part. Mm-hmm. It's not. But this was something that... I want to know if this happened in your theater. But with mine... There was a lot of laughter where I felt like I felt as though the audience was doing that nervous laughter thing.
Yeah,
so
where they're not into the film. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I watched it with my friend Kevin, and he did not enjoy it at all.
I really want to know what he didn't like about it.
He just... I think, when some, like... You're watching a movie with somebody and like you feel them decide that they're not gonna like it very, very, very early. And I think it's just when they're in a sourpuss mood. I hope he hears this too. Just in a sourpuss mood, and then just from then on, just everything is just like instead of like actually just sitting and letting yourself fall into it. Mm-hmm. He just thought it was just kind of dumb, and he didn't like the character. I don't think it's for mainstream audiences. I think it hit us in a very specific way because
this is for experienced like watchers of thrillers and people who are looking for something that's very different.
Yeah, it's definitely not your. It's not. It doesn't fit into a box very easy, which I like about it. And sometimes when you have to sell a movie, you're trying to fit it into a box, but this movie doesn't. It just doesn't fit in.
It was really cool because it gave me that feeling that a lot of '90s movies did. It's really dirty and gritty. A lot of almost all of the movie takes place at night. Yeah. Like there's only like a couple scenes that take place during daytime, and that really does affect you as a viewer. Watching it, it's very. Not, you know what, I can't say it. It's a pretty difficult movie to watch not in terms of pacing, not in terms of this, but it's challenging.
Watching all these things unfold, because you know what's coming. You can feel what's radiating off of his character, and sometimes you're with him, but sometimes you're just like, is this?
I think that's where the problem comes in with a lot of viewers, is that they have a hard time getting behind such an amoral character. And the movie does. The movie in order for you to like be on board for the movie, you have to be behind his character in the way that movie
you have to be good with like have to, like those movies where sometimes it's just like an anti-hero and you got to be able to get behind him like no matter what. And if
this is a very difficult anti-hero to get behind.
Yeah. But what would you say you would give your rating?
My rating for this movie, I have minor quibbles with it. Minor quibbles. Mm-hmm. Number one is, I think if this movie had a little bit of a bigger budget, it could have changed some things. I thought, one thing we haven't commented on, this movie has one of the most intense car chases I've ever seen in a movie in a really long time.
I agree. That car chase, honestly, was one of my... I haven't seen a car chase that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the theater that we watched it at, after the car chase was done, I felt like people in the seats behind me going, "Oh, thank God." Like just breathing a sigh of relief, like, "Oh, it's over. Oh, Jesus." It was intense, and I feel if there's one minor complaint, I felt as though there are some scenes that don't have quite as big of an impact as they wanted you to, and I don't know. I think it might have been like there's one scene where he walks up to where, I don't want to spoil too much, but he does go up to a very big crowd of people where people are getting carried away into ambulances and everything, and he puts the camera almost directly into the patient's face. And I had a hard time buying certain parts where I felt like a cop would have at least been a dick to him.
Yeah.
I would have at least pushed him away or told him to get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And I mean, but they're so minor.
Yeah,
they're such tiny quibbles.
Do that, and I think
they do it. They actually do it. They do tell him to fuck off at some points. Just other times, I felt like he might have been overstepping bounds, and they didn't really clarify it as well as I wanted to. But again, I'm nitpicking here.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I love the movie. It was a really intense movie. I can't wait to own it because it's one of those movies where I really want to watch it over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely... I think personally that's a movie I could watch again and again. Yeah. It's not like... It's... You kind of felt like what was coming, but it's all very well put together.
And the intensity comes from the performance.
Yeah.
I think the majority of this movie is not just on the back of the director, but it really is on Jake Gyllenhaal.
Definitely.
And Jake Gyllenhaal carries it.
Yeah,
he carries it with a vengeance. And I think he did such a phenomenal job. I really, 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 really hope that he gets at least an Oscar nod. And if he doesn't, I will be pissed because he put so much work into this.
It's sometimes...
It's a movie where I don't think this is the type of movie that the Academy would want to honor, but I think it's a movie that it deserves an honor.
I think he should win something or get nominated for something. I mean, he definitely carried the movie. I just feel like just the way sometimes you can get a feel from the Oscars sometimes.
Yeah, the fumes that are wafted my way aren't pointing towards Gyllenhaal, but
Also, you're talking to two guys who connected with the movie really well.
really well.
I think, just being able to understand the video side of it as well as just like
he's telling. There's that one scene where he goes up to Rene Russo and he's saying, "Oh yeah, I learned that if you frame things correctly, you can draw the eye to the center of the image." And I was all like, I've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I have said those exact words before.
Okay, and here's turn it off. Just real quick, spoilers. Plug your ears for 20 seconds if you haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
There's this part where he's dragging the body, and I totally would do that. He drags a body. He gets there before the police.
I was talking about that scene earlier. I was like, where he's manipulating, when he drags the body. Like, I saw it coming, and I was all like, damn it, that's something I would do.
I totally would fucking do that. If I was in this job, I would totally...
Because he was... that body was totally out of frame. Like, you couldn't see it at all. Totally in the darkness, nowhere near the light.
Yeah,
like,
get that city shit in the background, like, perfect car.
And I love the shot that he got, like, when he was holding the camera.
Yeah.
He was so intense in that scene, too. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Not quite a 10 out of 10. Because it didn't leave me with, like...
that feel
of where I know it's a 10 out of 10. But it's so good and I do want to see it again. Yeah. I really do. And it's a movie where I think it's going to be a movie where I, like, study. Where I really just watch over and over again to really get a sense of, like, the performances. Because I really think this is a performance film, above all. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where it really does hold up. Okay. I really loved it.
I'm thinking I'm going to give it, like 2 golden pineapples. Like, I don't think it deserves a third, but I think 2 golden pineapples is well deserved. It didn't leave me with the feeling, but it's short, tight. It's a very... I felt like it was short, maybe, but it's a tight, strong movie, and
I want to redo my rating, change it to 9 nights in your apartment with Jake Gyllenhaal out of 10.
9 nights with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the scene where he's talking to Rene Russo.
Oh, yeah.
The most menacing part of the movie.
Negotiating sexualness.
God, that part's so fucked up.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that is Nightcrawler. I recommend you go see it, especially if you like fucked up characters and intense car chases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.